On today's episode of Let's Talk Drones, I'm sharing with you a few places I'm backpedaling on predictions I made about the DJI Mini 4, including when we're going to see it hit shelves, as well as a few specs. Without further ado, let's talk drones. What's up? It's Chris, the Drone Geek, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Drones. Let's Talk Drones is brought to you by The Droning Company, the #1 online resource for commercial remote pilots based in the United States. If you've got your Part 107, there's no reason you shouldn't check The Droning Company out at thedroningcompany.com and across all major social media platforms. So as most of you know, the DJI Mini 4 was leaked again, this time a video showing the drone in flight. We did a video on that not too long ago, I think last week at this point. If you'd like to check that video out, you can go ahead and click the link up in the corner of this video. In that video, I had predicted that we'd see the Mini 4 hit shelves somewhere around the holiday shopping season. That's despite the fact that Jasper Ellens, who provided us the tweet that contained that leak that we talked about, had speculated we'd see it somewhere towards the end of September. Now, the more I talk to people in the industry, both those that speculate the same way I do, as well as those that have intimate knowledge of the upcoming product release schedule from DJI, the more I'm becoming convinced that we are going to see this drone sooner rather than later. Now, aside from some concrete conversations and confirmations I've received from people that do have insider information on DJI's upcoming product releases, there was one speculation that was made by a viewer of the channel that I found extremely interesting and might explain why DJI is releasing a little bit earlier than they usually do with their later in the year product release. This viewer's idea basically boiled down to this. With Remote ID going into effect on September 16th, it's going to require all drone pilots that are either flying commercially and or flying a UAV platform that's over 250 grams in total weight broadcast Remote ID while in flight. That being the reality that we're faced with, there's going to be an all-time high interest in UAV platforms that allow recreational flyers to fly without transmitting that somewhat sensitive data that Remote ID requires, including the UAV's position in the sky as well as the pilot's position on the ground. With people searching for legal ways to get out of having to broadcast Remote ID, I think DJI is in for a huge cash grab here with the release of the Mini 4. There's going to be a lot of interest in this sub 250 gram platform, and I think it's going to sell like hotcakes. I genuinely had not considered that piece of information, and I gotta say, the commenter that left that comment speculating on that idea is extremely clever, and I'd say DJI is even more clever in releasing this drone right alongside Remote ID going into effect. So all that said, I am changing my prediction. I don't think we're going to see this drone around the holiday season. I think we're going to see it at the end of September, so prepare your checkbook. But the release wasn't the only prediction I made. I also made some predictions about the capabilities of this drone and some of the key specs for it. I've also changed some of my positions on those predictions, and these are going to be my final predictions before the actual release of the DJI Mini 4. First of all, let's talk about the camera. In our previous video, I had predicted that we were going to see a larger sensor size for the Mini 4. I was predicting a 1/1.2 inch sensor as opposed to a 1/1.3 inch sensor. Now, I'm not totally ruling that out, but I am facing the facts. DJI has already delved into that stacked sensor technology, and that 1/1.3 inch sensor with the stacked sensor and the bare processing on the Air 3 really did a great job when it came to coming out with some high quality imagery, both photo and video. I truly believe DJI is going to continue exploring that type of technology, especially on its smaller platforms. So I think we're going to see a stacked sensor on the DJI Mini 4, and I don't think we're going to see an increase in the sensor size. It's not a total impossibility, but it's definitely an improbability. So we're going to see a 1/1.3 inch sensor with a stacked sensor and bare processing on the images that come out of that camera. That means it'll shoot 4K 60, and it will also have a 12 megapixel and a 48 megapixel photo mode. I also still think that we're going to see true portrait mode with the Mini 4, meaning that it will rotate the camera 90 degrees so that you can shoot true 16:9 portrait mode with this drone. The only way I don't see that being a possibility with the Mini 4 is because it will make the Air 3's portrait mode sort of obsolete, because the quality on the Mini 4's portrait mode will be much higher with the same sensor size, the same sensor technology, and the fact that it's actually rotating the camera, giving you that true portrait mode rather than a digital crop. Next is the flight time. Now, in an article that I published about the best GPS drones for beginners in 2023, I had mentioned the DJI Mini 4 because I believed we were going to see it towards the end of this year. Looks like I will be right on that. In that article, which you can find linked down below, I also speculated on the flight time for the Mini 4 Pro. I believed that we were going to see somewhere between 45 and 57 minutes for total flight time. After really thinking about it, I do think we're going to see an increased flight time from the Mini 3 Pro as well as the Air 3. I think we're going to see around 52 minutes. And the reason for that increased flight time has to do with the new transmission system that we're going to get on the Mini 4. Spoiler alert, we're talking about the transmission system for our last prediction for the Mini 4. Now, I'm really not changing my stance on this. I just don't know if I was super clear on how I felt about the upcoming Mini 4's transmission system. I truly believe we're going to see an upgraded transmission system from the OcuSync 3 to the OcuSync 4. Historically, DJI has not really waffled on that transmission system. If they upgrade it for all new drones following the implementation of that system on a recent release. So, since the Air 3 got the OcuSync 4, that means that the Mini 4 and other drones after the Mini 4 will also see the OcuSync 4 transmission system. That means the Mini 4 will be capable of up to 20 kilometers in maximum range. That's about 12.4 miles for my fellow Americans. That means that we will need an increased flight time for this drone if you're truly going to explore the range capabilities on the Mini 4. Everything else is up in the air at this point. The only thing that I can really provide any more educated speculation on has to do with the obstacle avoidance system. And that really is dependent upon whether or not we see the Mini 4 or the Mini 4 Pro at the end of September. If we see the Mini 4, I don't think it'll have obstacle avoidance, as that will be in line with previous versions of the Mini drone. And if we see the Mini 4 Pro, well, it's safe to say we're going to see the same obstacle avoidance system that we saw in the Mini 3 Pro. Like I said a little bit earlier, unless we see another major leak, this will likely be the last video that I do on the Mini 4 Pro until it hits shelves. September is right around the corner, and I cannot wait for the Mini 4 to be released. If it is the Mini 4 Pro, I will be purchasing it to keep, because I will need a drone that allows me to fly without broadcasting remote ID. Let's face it, it's a giant pain in the ass, and I'm not in total agreement with the current remote ID system in place as per the FAA. So having that mini drone that I can utilize for flights without having to broadcast remote ID will be a huge help. But what do you think? What will the Mini 4 be capable of? And do you believe, now that I've changed my opinion, that we'll see this drone at the end of September? Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up icon down below. It helps me out a lot, helps get this video out into the algorithm to more viewers like yourself. If you liked this video and you love drone content made by drones, about drones, and for drone pilots, this is the channel for you, my friend. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and while you're at it, hit the bell icon too. You'll get a notification every time we post a new video. Until next time, I'm Chris, the Drone Geek, and I am out of here. See ya!
Yo, what you say? Steady